Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiryet Shavatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shamana Kirtanaha Hridayantasto bhadrani vidunoti surhasatam nashtaprayasha bhadreshu nityam bhagavad sevaya bhagavate uttam shloke bhaktir bhakti naishtiki. Hare Krishna. So today we are starting Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th canto. And here, the first chapter is about the Manus, administrators of the universe. So in 7th canto, earlier we covered the science of God. And now, Manvantari, all the appearances of Manus and how they ruled and so forth, and the different pastimes are being discussed of the Lord. And the conversation is happening between who and who? Who are the parties? Yes. Shukdev Goswami is, describing and narrating. He's doing the Kirtan, glories of the Lord and his devotees. And Parikshit Maharaj, he is the he is the one hearing it. And of course, there is a whole collection of sages that include even Devashi Narad, Vasishtha, Vishwamitra, and many other sages gathered at this particular spot at the bank of Ganges. And later on, the same narration was described by Sutta Goswami at Naimisharanya to the thousands of sages, and Shaunaka Rishi was their spokesperson. So let's cover the first verse. Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th canto, chapter 1, verse 1. Shri Rajo Vacha Swayambhuvasyeha Guru Vamshoyam Vistaracha Chrutaha Yatra Vishva Shajam Sargo Manum Anyan Vidasva Naha. Shri Raja Uvacha. The king Maharaj Parikshit said, Swayambhuvasya, of the great personalities Swayambhuva Manu. Iha, in this connection, Guru, O my spiritual master, Vamshaha, dynasty, Ayam, this, Vistarat, extensively, Shutaha, I have heard from you. Yatra, wherein Vishwasrajam, of the great personalities known as the Prajapatis such as Marichi. Sargaha, creation, involving the birth of many sons and grandsons from the daughters of Manu. Manun, Manus, Anyan, other. Vadasva, kindly describe. Naha, to us. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. King Parikshit said, O my Lord, my spiritual master, now I have fully heard from your grace about the dynasty of Swayambhuva Manu. But there are also other Manus, and I want to hear about their dynasties. Kindly describe them to us. And so here in summary, Srila Prabhupada writes, this first chapter of the 8th canto may be summarized as the description of 4 Manus, namely Swayambhuva, Swarochisha, Uttama and Tamasa. After hearing descriptions of the dynasty of Swayambhuva Manu until the end of the 7th canto, Maharaj Parikshit desired to know about the other Manus. He desired to understand how the Supreme Personality of Godhead descends, not only in the past, but at the present and in the future, and how he acts in various pastimes as Manu. Since Parikshit Maharaj was eager to know all this, Shukdev Goswami gradually described all the Manus, beginning with the 6 Manus who had appeared in the past. The first Manu was Swayambhuva Manu. His 2 daughters, namely Akuti and Devahuti, gave birth to 2 sons named Yagya and Kapila respectively. Because Shukdev Goswami had already described the activities of Kapila in the 3rd canto, he now described the activities of Yagya. The original Manu, along with his wife Shatrupa, went into the forest to practice austerities on the bank of the river Sunanda. They practiced austerities for 100 years, and then Manu, in a trance, formed prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Rakshasas and Asuras then attempted to devour him, but Yagya, accompanied by his sons the Yamas and the demigods, killed them. Then Yagya personally took the post of Indra, the king of the heavenly planets. The second Manu, whose name was Swarochisha, was the son of Agni, and his sons were headed by Dyumat, Shushena, and Rochishmat. In the age of this Manu, Rochana became Indra, the ruler of the heavenly planets, and there were many demigods headed by Tushta. There were also many saintly persons such as Urja and Stambha. Among them was Vedashira, whose wife Tushita gave birth to Vibhu. Vibhu instructed 88,000 Dridvritas, or saintly persons, on self-control and austerity. Uttama, the son of Priyavrata, was the 3rd Manu. Among his sons were Pavana, Srinjaya, and Yagyahotra. During the reign of this Manu, the sons of Vashishta, headed by Pramad, became the 7 saintly persons. The Satyas, Devashrutas, and Bhadras became the demigods, and Satyajit became Indra. From the womb of Sunrata, the wife of Dharma, the Lord appeared as Satyasena, and he killed all the Yakshas and Rakshasas who were fighting with Satyajit. Tamasa, the brother of the 3rd Manu, was the 4th Manu, and he had 10 sons, including Prithu, Khyati, Nara, and Ketu. During his reign, the Satyakas, Haris, and Veeras, and others were demigods. The 7 great saints were headed by Jyotirdhama, and Trishikha became Indra. Harimedha begot a son named Hari in the womb of his wife Harini. This Hari, an incarnation of God, saved the devotee Gajendra. This incident is described as Gajendra Mokshana. At the end of this chapter, Parikshit Maharaj particularly asks about this incident. Om Jnana Timrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripa Tadahum Vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So in this chapter, we hear about the 4 Manus that appeared in the past. So these Manus are described in this particular day of Brahma. So in one day of Brahma, how many Chaturyugas are there? 1,000. Yes, 1,000 Chaturyugas. And a Manu, there are 14 Manus who reign during one day of Brahma. So it's not the lifespan of Manus, it's the reign duration. So they reign for, 71 yugas approximately. So, and then there are 14 of those Manus in one day of Brahma. So as Parikshit Maharaj is asking, Shukdev Goswami is describing on the current day of Brahma that there have already been 6 Manus who had appeared, And in this chapter, the first 4 are described. Now, Swayambhuva Manu. Can you think of any scripture written by Swayambhuva Manu? Manu Samhita, yes. And Manu Samhita is a scripture that is to guide who? That is to guide human beings and how to carry out their life, how to live their life. So those instructions are given by Manu. And also here it is referred to as great personality. Now, somebody can ask about the birth of Manu, right? So Manu starts with the word Man. So he is born from the mind of Lord Brahma. And hence he gets the name Manu. And Shatrupa is born from the right half of Lord Brahma's body. So together, they have 2 daughters, Akuti and Devahuti. Now in 3rd canto, Kapil Dev, his pastime had already been discussed and how he instructed his mother Devahuti. It's very interesting that when Srila Prabhupada wrote the teachings of Lord Kapila, under that he had added the son of Devahuti, So it's very interesting that the disciples came back to him saying that nobody writes like that, teachings of Pluto or Aristotle or any of the person, son of so and so. That's not how you write. But then, Srila Prabhupada said, just do it that way. And when the disciples, they became more, aware of the reason he had in Srimad Bhagavatam 3rd canto, he gave that reason. Then they became, they were able to understand why Srila Prabhupada was saying son of Devahuti. Because Kapil Dev, son of Devahuti, he propagated Sankhya Yoga, right? And there was another Kapila, an atheistic Kapila, who also came. And he gave his atheistic philosophy. And he also called it Sankhya Yoga. To differentiate between the 2 Kapilas, it was very important to identify that this Kapila, who is propagating the true Sankhya Yoga, the theistic philosophy, is the son of Devahuti. So in this manner, that particular confusion is removed. Now here, the description of Akuti's son, Yajnadev, is given. And his glories are also narrated. That when Swayambhuva Manu, in his early age itself, he was so detached when he was administrator of the universe. Now it's very interesting that even as an administrator of the universe, he was able to detach himself. And that is, further described because he was a partial expansion. He's referred to as great personality. So all the Manus and many of the demigods, they appeared. Many of them were, the partial expansions. So they were the partial expansions of the Lord. And also, during their reign, Lord appeared like Yajnapati. He appeared as Yajnapati. He also appeared as Sattvasena, during the 3rd Manu's reign. And he also appeared as Vibhu. And he actually, he actually instructed 88,000 Dharmavatas, saintly persons, on austerities. And then, in the reign of 4th Manu, he appeared as Hari, the incarnation of God, and was able to give liberation to Gajendra, the king of the elephants. Gaja is elephants and Indra is like the king. So king of the elephants, the gigantic king of the elephants, he was delivered. Now, it's very interesting that Swayambhuva Manu, he recites many wonderful prayers when he had detached himself and had gone to the forest. And during that time, he actually gave very nice instruction in the purpose. Srila Prabhupada explains, related to those prayers, as how he is praying that, Lord, you are the beginning, you are the middle, and you are the end. But then, of you, there is no beginning, middle, or end. So of course, in our lives, we take birth, we live, we maintain our body for some time, and then we die. That's our birth, our lifespan is like that. That's the life cycle of the material body. But, and in the beginning, it is by the mercy of the Lord that we get birth. During the lifespan, we are maintained by the Lord, who's providing all these facilities. And at the end, he says, time I am destroyer of all things. So in time we die and give up these material bodies and continue our life beyond to the next life. So again, next span. So similarly, Lord, we are same in quality but minuscule in quantity, different in quantity. So Lord is unlimited. So He's making all these prayers. And I was thinking it would be nice to discuss it with some references. So one of the interesting things that came to my mind is let's look at how our life, during our life we are engaged in so many activities. And I suppose all of you must have bought cars in your life, right? So when we are buying car, at that time we are trying to find what is the best kind of car that we should have, right? So that's of our interest. Why are we looking at something that is, again, there are two types of choices. One choice is like what is the best value, and the second choice is what's the highest value. And if you get the best value along with the highest value, that's the perfect combination. So you go to the dealership, you try to buy a car, you negotiate and so forth. So you get a car. But then when people buy a car and they sit in the car, the purpose when you had decided to buy the car versus when you get inside the car, something happens to people. All of a sudden they smell this, the nice, upholstery and so forth of the car. It has so much mechanism, it has ABS and so forth. And sometimes it gets in their head. And this is normally what happens to people when they're on the road, right? Every driver who's on the road is thinking that the drivers who are driving faster than them are just crazy, Why are they driving faster? And then the drivers who are driving slower than them, they're completely out of their mind. Every driver is thinking that way. So that's the state. So again, and I would like to categorize these drivers as we are driving the car, different folks are driving the car on the road in different categories. So there are those who are driving the car at crazy speed. They take participation in demolition derbies where literally the cars are destroyed by, hitting each other. They take participation in big races. And in the beginning, when you see these cars lined up on that racetrack, they look like brand new, shining cars with, the best of the facilities and so forth. Everyone is like fresh. And by the time the race ends, these cars are near their end of lifespan. Means many of the cars have heavy dents. Many of the cars get destroyed during the race. They lose control and they get destroyed. And some of the cars are, having dents and so forth. And they are just going for this race to just finish the race first. Hey, I'm the one who did the best. Everyone is chasing for that particular goal. During the race, and after the race, you look at those cars and look at those drivers of those cars. They are exhausted. And yet at the same time, they're smiling. Some of them who have won, first few guys. While all the other ones are really disappointed. Even though they had the best of the facilities, they are just... So these kind of people who are constantly... Some of the people, they take their car out on a drive on roads and sometimes on the country roads, and they just ignoring the limits, they're just crazily driving it, burning their tires, spoiling their time as well. I would like to call these people as busy fools, right? Because they are busy, constantly driving their cars. They're constantly trying to decorate the cars with different kind of, better engines, nitrogen oxide and so forth, adding things so that they can get better speed. They're putting bigger and better bumpers on the cars, and they are always, doing makeovers, adding things to the car continuously. So these are busy fools, where their life is completely focused on the car and how to maintain the car. Now the second category I would like to say is the drivers who sometimes, are very much busy in driving, means very much driving the car, but then they're not so busy. They're like, they sometimes even have, you see some of the drivers, they just want to be safe. So they go to the rightmost lane, they turn the blinkers on, and they're driving lower than the speed limit. And even lower than the traffic limit, traffic speed. And everyone is like, they are as dangerous as the guys who are driving crazily on the road. Yet at the same time, they are not driving the car often. They're only saying, okay, I need to go from point A to point B, and I want to reach there safely. So I'll turn the blinkers on, go to the rightmost lane, and still go. So they don't cause as much trouble, but they do cause some trouble, on the road. Because it has been proven by statistics that while the cars who are driving faster learn into accident, the cars who are driving slower also cause accidents. Not as much, but they do cause accidents because they are not driving with the speed of the traffic. So these I would like to call lazy fools, right? Because they're lazy, so they're like, keeping the blinkers on. They don't drive much and being very cautious of the situation. And then they're just going from point A to point B. And they don't want to get into the car unless they have to get to another point A to point B scenario, unless they have to drive. I would say many of the times when people come from India, and especially the ladies, they fall into this particular category. They don't want to drive more than what is required. They're like, okay, I'll drive the car only if I have to. Or I have to go and pick up my son, okay, then I will drive the car. So they are in that particular category. A very safe category, means when they are small roads, they're very safe, but they become very dangerous when they get onto the interstates. It's very unsafe for other people as well when they are driving. So these are lazy fools. Now, there is another category where they are driving the car, and they drive the car at normal speed within the traffic rules and regulations, and they drive from point A to point B. So they are, just focus on driving the car and taking the best use of the car. So they are intelligent, but they are busy intelligent because they are following the rules and regulations, but they are still busy in carrying out their activities, driving, constantly. So they are constantly busy, but they are intelligent from the perspective that they are driving it for the right purpose. And then there is the other category where these are the people who actually not just driving from point A to point B, they actually are saying, why do I have to get to point B? They're making that question, they're making that inquiry. Is this really something going to help me? I just don't want to go because I have to go to some place. I want to know why I am going there. And so once they analyze that, okay, by going there I get some benefit, then they take to this particular driving. They're intelligent because they follow the rules, plus they follow only when it is for the benefit. So they have a purpose behind why they are driving. A chauffeur doesn't use that particular. They just like, okay, the master comes and he says, okay, take me to this place. And they just take to that place. So a chauffeur falls more into the busy intelligence scenario, while when the person is driving, with that purpose, that, okay, I know why I'm going to this destination, why I'm going to that destination. That is lazy intelligent, because they are following all the rules and regulations of the road, and not all the lights turn green for them as well, just like for any other person. Now what happens when you are driving the car, irrespective of which category you fall in, you always have the possibility of accidents. And sometimes we ask the drivers, like, okay, what happens? What accidents were most terrifying? And there have been a couple of incidents. One of my manager, he was, when I was new in US, he was telling me that, before becoming an IT project manager, he was actually working at a mechanic shop, right after high school during the summer vacations. And once there was a gruesome accident on interstate where, a family car had crashed with a truck. And it was so bad. And the kids sometimes, they didn't used to wear, in those days, seat belts. So those two kids, they had actually flown out of the front window, and their bodies had literally hit the truck and other cars. And it was such a gruesome scenario that they were collecting body parts. So again, such a gruesome. So this is very bad. So when you're on an interstate and all that, be cognizant of be aware that there are other people driving and should drive carefully. And then there are simple accidents like you stop on a stop sign, the person behind you doesn't stop, and boom, they hit you. It's a bumper-to-bumper hit. They also know that it's a simple scenario. So not that of scenario. But again, what determines the kind of driver is the attitude of the driver. I had one incident where the car was turning to the right, and suddenly he saw a cyclist who's about to cross the road. So he stopped suddenly, and then boom, another car hits from the back. And I'm seeing the first driver, he comes out of his car, oh, I saw that cyclist, and that's why I didn't stop, and you should have stopped, and you hit my car, and all. The guy from the behind it comes out, calm, relax. It's okay, it happens. So nicely, the other one says, yeah, you shouldn't have hit me, but then I realized that it was the cyclist, the bicyclist, he was crossing the road. And the second guy actually thanks the first guy for stopping to let the bicyclist cross. So this is very important, that we need to pay attention to other vehicles who are driving on the road. It's not that you are in Lamborghini, so you'll push the poor Corolla guy onto the side of the curb. Or if you're driving an 18-wheeler, you push the whole traffic on one side and then drive onto the curb and then get ahead of everyone else. So again, we have some rules and regulations. And Swayambhuva Manu, he provided us Manu Samhita for the human beings, giving us the instruction as how to live our life. And the purpose of life, of course, to attain the purpose of life. So all these instructions are directing towards how do we live our life so that we can attain the purpose of life. Lord Ramchandra, he appeared as Purushottama, right? And he was Dharmparayan. He was showing us how to live your life, how to be tolerant, how to be humble, how he followed the order of his father, how he was a perfect husband, how he was a perfect ruler, perfect king and administrator. Ram Raj, it is glorified in the scriptures, that people, they didn't have to lock their houses as well. So such was his life. Lord Krishna, when he appeared, he showed how to live as well. Because again, he also benefited, means he gave the instructions to Arjuna, and giving Bhagavad Gita, and Srila Prabhupada wrote Bhagavad Gita as it is, means that you understand Bhagavad Gita as Lord Krishna intended, not leave it on the shelf as it is. So that is the essence. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in this Kali age, he appeared, Prem Parayana. So he is showing us how to love God as a devotee. So this is Lord Krishna himself appearing just 500 years ago, showing us how to love God, and as a devotee, giving us the direction and giving us the instructions as how to love God and how simple this process is. So similarly in our life, like we talked of 4 different types of drivers, we actually have 4 different kind of human beings in 4 categories. It's not the Varnashram I'm referring to. It's a general category I like to divide. There are those who are karmis, they're constantly engaged in all kind of fruitive activities. These are some of the crazy drivers who are participating sometimes in demolition derbies, sometimes in different races, sometimes they are cursing all the other drivers and just ruling the road, ignoring the rights of the bicyclists, the pedestrians and so forth, constantly just busy in driving, and then they are always looking at makeovers. They're doing their bodily makeovers, their physical makeovers, they try to build up big muscles and so forth, try to build up fame, glories, try to run after money crazily. So again, Srila Prabhupada has described so nicely that this civilization, the progress of civilization is not because you have big and better cars. A dog is running on 4 legs and you are running in a car that has 4 wheels. So that's not the advancement. The progress of civilization is how Krishna conscious you are. How Krishna conscious? What is Krishna consciousness to you? Means again, he's describing Krishna consciousness is love of Godhead. When we love God, that's Krishna conscious. It doesn't matter which religion we belong to, but how we realize who the God is, how great He is, and how we get to love Him. How we love Him. And those are the processes. Again, there are the 9 processes that have been identified and so forth. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he made it so simple. To invoke that love of Godhead, we have to take to the chanting of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So again, we're talking about the busy fools, where people, they are spending their lives in all kind of endeavors without realizing the purpose of life. And they are causing big havoc, means they are causing big accidents on the road. They are causing all kind of irregularities in the society, and they're constantly, leading to trouble. So when they are engaged, they actually the engagement is causing a lot of disturbance in the society because it's taking everyone else also away from, the purpose of life, which is to develop that love of Godhead and go back home, back to Godhead. So that's the, busy fools. Now there are others people who are like, oh, I'm not this body. They have some realization, yet at the same time, they don't know what to do. So some of the Gyan yogis, fall in that particular category. Or some of the people who are like, okay, doing the Hatha yoga and so forth, they are in that category that they put their blinkers on. Hey, I don't want to, drive unless I need to drive. And when I drive, I put my blinkers on, I take the rightmost lane, I go way below the traffic speed. They don't cause as much trouble as the, busy intelligent, but they do cause some trouble because it distracts people, And they can also, cause some harm, but not as much harm as the busy fools do. Then there is the category where people who are, busy with their lives, they know the purpose of the life, yet at the same time, they are intelligent. They know the purpose, but at the same time, even though they know it, they keep themselves busy. They keep themselves busy with different kind of activities and so forth. And sometimes they engage in activities which may just be taking away their time from the important thing that, should be used in the service of the Lord. So they are busy intelligent. They don't cause so much of harm, but they keep themselves busy at the same time to avoid getting distracted from others. They follow the rules and regulations. Shri Shri Gauratai ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki jai. Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nand Kore Vaishnavind ki jai. So they are not, means again, they are intelligent, but they are not busy intelligent. Like, we had that scenario we discussed earlier. And it's very interesting now that I'm thinking of the difference between, busy intelligent and busy fools. So busy fools, there is one busy fool who was driving on the road, and then he suddenly sees, some of the people holding a big board, signboard, saying, you have to control your speed. You are so much so above the speed. Sometimes you see this, cameras also, or sometimes boards that show you higher speed that you are driving. Well, the person just yells on them, I don't care about you guys. You guys have nothing else to do but to just pick up this board and signboard and tell me. And then afterwards they see, oh, wait a minute, they're cops, and they get tickets. So there are warnings that come their way. Okay, after having the ticket, they're even more frustrated. They keep driving further. And then they see other group of people holding some boards. They're saying, oh, you're not this car. You're much above the car. Don't be upset, become peaceful. And he's further upset because he just got a ticket, First he didn't heed to the instruction. He said, the guys who were holding the board earlier should have held the board that there are police ahead of me. Instead of that, they were holding the board, control your speed. How does that help me? And then afterwards he's complaining that these people, I just got a ticket. And I, while driving, I may have hit the curb and so forth. I've got all these dents and all that stuff. They don't construct the road very well, for me to drive on. It's very interesting sometimes how people take. Once a lady, she hits her car onto the, street lamp. And then she says, you can't give me a ticket because I think it's the lamp that hit me first. Right? So they find excuses everywhere. They're good with arguments, and they spend their precious time in these frivolous activities as arguing about things. So this guy is like, oh, how does this help? These people have no work to do. They're just saying, I'm not this car, my car is so important to me. And sometimes people get really, emotional when you touch their car at times. Getting a scratch on the car is a big deal. So similarly, people in their lives, when they see, oh, such and such person is trying to tell me I'm not this body, I'm the spirit soul. They're like, but how does that help me? I have to take care of this body. And then, further as the person is driving, frustrated, he sees a couple of guys holding a board saying that end is near, stop, turn back now. He's like, what the heck? He turns his, brings his window down, he takes his hand out and yell, get out of here. What are you guys doing? And what happens? As he turns across on the road, there comes a big screeching sound and a splash in the waters. So these two guys look at each other holding the board. End is near. Stop, turn back now. Say, should we just use the board says bridge is out? Because that's what is happening. Our life is running out. And if we don't heed to the warning signs that we get in our life and just complain everything, that the warning signs were incorrectly, having the message. They should have given the message of what's going to happen in the future. It's not going to help. So that's the case of busy fools. They're so busy, foolishly spending their time, that they they don't heed to the important signs that are being shown to them as they are on their journey. So that's where the busy intelligent differs. They pay attention to these signs and they say, wait a minute, I'm busy, but at the same time I have to be intelligent about how I drive the car. And a busy intelligent person will stop and ask, why are you saying so? He would thank them and say, very nice of you to show me the sign that I should control my speed. Oh, I should listen to them. And then maybe control the speed so that the cops, don't give him a ticket. And as he goes further, he sees other people. I'm not this guy. He's like, yeah, I have got more things in my life than just this car. I meet friends. I go to my home and I interact with my family, my relatives. And I engage with them in so many wonderful activities. I meet devotees and I hear to the pravachans, to the scriptures and so forth. So yes, that is very nice. And then he sees other people saying, stop now, end is near. He may be realizing, wait a minute, this is an important message. Am I really paying attention what's on the road? And if they are telling me to stop, maybe I should ask them, why should I stop? So making the right set of inquiries is something, shows the intelligence of a person. An intelligent person, when he sees something of value, they inquire about it. So that's why they are called less intelligent. They're not always engaged just in driving the car. They're asking intelligent questions. They're engaging in other activities to help them experience the true purpose and, access and progress on the path of progress, which is spiritual progress, to see the purpose of life, to get out of this, the miseries of materialistic life, birth, death, old age and disease. So they are focused in that manner. And now there is a fourth category we talked about, which is lazy intelligent. They are like, okay, these people, they know the purpose of life. They are the devotees who are constantly engaged in devotion service, serving the Lord, through various processes, listening to pravachans, listening to the discourses on the glories of Lord. So such people, they are, Srila Prabhupada called such people as well as lazy intelligent. They are not lazy per se that they don't endeavor, they're not engaged in activities. They are actually engaged in more activities than busy fools are. They're constantly engaged in activities to please the Lordship. They are the order suppliers of the Lord. So these pure devotees, when they are providing the guidance, we should take to such guidance. We should take time out to listen to such discourses on the glories of the Lord and become less intelligent by taking to service of the Lord and engaging in the loving relationships with other devotees who are also on the same platform as less intelligent, but at the same time making tremendous progress. Srila Prabhupada writes in his writing that less intelligent people, they sometimes they travel long distance just to take bath in Ganges. So why do you think people who are taking, driving or traveling thousands of miles just to take bath in Ganges, people who are traveling thousands of miles, across the globe to go to Mayapur during Gaur Purnima, people who are going to Vrindavan to take a dip in Radhakund and Shyamakund, do you think they are lazy? No. They actually know, they are intelligent because they know the purpose of life. And they want to make spiritual advancement. They want to go to Dhamma. And Srila Rupa Goswami explains it very nicely just by engaging in 5 different activities. Of the 64 devotional activities he is listing in Nectar of Devotion. Srila Prabhupada writes in Nectar of Devotion, which is a summary of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, summary study. And just engaging in those 5 activities, one can experience the love of Godhead. So they want to experience that spiritual bliss. And they want to, that's why, go to Dham. They visit Dham, the holy places. And Srila Prabhupada writes, Hare Krishna temples, these are also holy places. Because Lord Himself is here. Shishi Radha Mohan, Shishi Sitaram Lakshmana, Shishi Ganaitai. They are here. So you can come and directly purify yourself. Now when people come here, are they lazy? No, they are actually very busy. They are taking time out to make sure that their time is engaged in the right activities to make spiritual progress. But they are lazy from an outside perspective. People say, oh, these people have no work to do but to go to temples. Because the busy fools, sometimes they deny or they ignore or they even sometimes criticize lazy intelligence, saying that these people, they don't have anything to do. Well, Srila Prabhupada gave the example of Darwin's theory. These people, the people who are busy fools in their life, they are following the examples of monkeys. They think that as per Darwin's theory, our ancestors were monkeys. So as a monkey is constantly busy in activities, foolish activities, you would never see a monkey sitting, quietly. They are always engaged in doing something or thinking something, if not doing something. They're constantly busy with their mind and their bodies to engage in activities which are just frivolous activities. So similarly, today in the civilization, today's culture, people are busy going day and night in their cars to the work and come back home. When they come home, they immediately take the cars out to go out somewhere to enjoy, movies, theaters, eating out at restaurants, going to the nightclubs. Those are the activities busy fools engage in constantly, day after day, not knowing the purpose of life, that we have to get out of this material world and, put an end to the miseries of this material life, birth, death, old age and disease. While lazy intelligent, they are very intelligent because they are constantly pursuing the purpose of life, constantly engaging in the devotional service of the Lord. So my request to you all is, don't be busy fools anymore if you are, and take to the process of devotional service and become lazy intelligent, where you may appear lazy but constantly because you are engaged in devotional service. So to an outsider you may appear lazy, but you are very busy. You are even more busy than they are, but constantly engaged in devotional service. And sometimes people ask, oh, what kind of accidents? Don't be engaged. When sometimes people say, oh, what kind of death do you want? Death is a big topic, right? And sometimes people do ponder. And sometimes people come with the thought that, oh, I want a death that I get a massive heart attack, I fall down and instantly die. Well, that death is very much like the interstate death I was describing. Best is, think of it, that your car is in an accident, but you are not even inside the car, right? That's the best. Means if your body, here in this particular example, your body is like the car, that the different drivers I was giving in the categories, right? And if somebody comes and hits your car, maybe your car is standing on in a parking lot and a truck comes and bangs into the car, totaling it, completely destroying it. Well, you are not inside the car at all. You are outside. You have transcended from the bodily consumption of life. And there is only one process to transcend from the bodily consumption of life, by taking to the devotional service. So when you are engaged in devotional service, when you are surrounded by the devotees and hearing some, kirtan, the chanting of the holy name of the Lord around you, then you rise above the bodily conception of life. And at that time on the transcendental platform, you really do not care what happens to the body. Why? Because Lord Krishna says, one who is constantly engaged in remembering me alone at the last moment of his life, the moment of death, then he comes back to me. And such pure souls go back home, back to Godhead. So my request is again, please take to the chanting of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And, pray to the Lordship with sincere feeling that, O Lord Shri Krishna, O Lord Rama, O Mother Hara, O energy of the Lord, please engage me in your devotional service. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments? Ganthraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Anant Kori Vaishnavind ki jai, Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare